Let's raise the stakes, change the pace. Everybody thinks they perfect, but we make mistakes. My only goal is becoming one of the all-time greats. And after all, this is a marathon, it's not a race, right? Cough and drop off the top of the stage. Darby Allin's a madman, he can't be caged. And as a matter of fact, I'm ready for that spot. Casino ladder match, who will hit the jackpot? Won't be surprised if it's Scorpio Sky. Double or nothing where the stories collide. We taking over like Brodie Lee in the Dark Order. You ain't a god, my friend, your arms are far shorter. This is the pay-per-view, it ain't the same thing. You not a threat now, cause you got a name change. You gotta prove your worth, just like we all did. We've been taking over the world since All In. Start the productions, Double or Nothing. Coming to you straight from Florida with no interruptions. We ain't trying to waste too much time on our introductions. Just get ready for some wrestling and utter destruction. Start the productions, Double or Nothing. Coming to you straight from Florida with no interruptions. We ain't trying to waste too much time on our introductions. Just get ready for some wrestling and utter destruction. For the record though, it's bound to be a spectacle. Was never skeptical, cause that's what I expected, yo. Elite versus the inner circle is going down. I'm looking forward to that Stampede showdown. No doubt, man, we in different modes now. It's kill or be killed and we ain't about to slow down. High stakes, the TNT title is up for takes. Cody versus the Murder Hawk with Jake the Snake. And when that dust clears, there won't be no debate. Just Tyson handing the title to Jake's protege. MJF probably losing in an upset. Nonetheless, Jungle Boys ready for some success. The Dark Order is full of steam, they taking off. The world title is up for grabs, they facing off. Watch me become the champion like Moxley. Hope he's not cocky, cause he'll get stopped, B. Start the productions, Double or Nothing. Coming to you straight from Florida with no interruptions. We ain't trying to waste too much time on our introductions. Just get ready for some wrestling and utter destruction. Start the productions, Double or Nothing. Coming to you straight from Florida with no interruptions. We ain't trying to waste too much time on our introductions. Just get ready for some wrestling and utter destruction.
Ladies and gentlemen, huge shout out to Ant Won't Stop. That is Ant Won't Stop with the incredible intro there. You can find that available for download on iTunes and Spotify. Just search AEW, Double or Nothing. AEW Double or Nothing. Just put that in the search bar and it is there. You can find them on Twitter as well at Ant Won't Stop. Incredible intros. He does so many intros. I love them all. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are gonna hop into the AEW review, AEW Double or Nothing review. And man, I gotta say, I'm seeing a lot of people say that, man, this was a great pay-per-view. And I am just not there on that opinion overall. Overall, man, look, this is where I'm at. Last year's Double or Nothing was a great pay-per-view and one of the greatest indies. Matter of fact, 1 year ago today, Jon Moxley showed up. One of the greatest indies you'll ever see. That was a great pay-per-view. This was an enjoyable pay-per-view. Not a great pay-per-view, not a bad pay-per-view, but enjoyable nonetheless. So I'm going to hop right on into it. Now, a lot of things made it not a great pay-per-view. So we're going to hop right on into it. The AEW Casino Ladder match. Look, man, this was very crazy. My expectations were through the roof. So maybe that's my fault. I know a lot of times we as wrestling fans see certain matches like a casino ladder match with all these guys involved and think that, man, it is going to be a match of the year candidate. That's where I was with this one. But nonetheless, we had some pretty fun spots in this match. Darby Allin, man, why does he continue? Oh, man, why does he continue to agree to these spots, man? He hits the double foot stomp on a skateboard through the ladder, and at that moment I'm thinking, man, the man didn't hurt his ankle, he didn't broke his leg, something didn't happen. Darby's on the ground. I'm like, man, he's not gonna even be able to finish the match, and I am worried about that. But as it would move on, Darby would be okay. I liked Orange Cassidy getting into this action, but what I didn't like, man, look, I understand Orange Cassidy's gimmick but at some point, like, the gimmick has to go away. Like, a shot at the heavyweight championship is on the line, and he's rolling this gimmick. He won't get the ladder, and like the problem that I had was that for the longest of times, there was no one else in the ring. It was just Orange Cassidy standing there, and it's like, man, you have a shot at the world title. I understand this gimmick, but now is not the time. Moving on to somebody else, Joey Janela, the replacement for Phoenix. Look, I was pretty let down that Phoenix wouldn't be in the match, but I gotta say that Joey Janela came in high energy. I liked what he brought to the table, and he was very exciting throughout this entire match. And speaking of very exciting, we came down to the mystery competitor, and it was Brian Cage. My goodness, man, like, y'all just don't understand how big of a fan I am of Brian Cage. If you've heard me talk about Impact at any time when he was in Impact, you definitely know how big of a fan of this guy that I am. I love this work in Lucha Underground, love this work in Impact, and he is going to do incredible things with Taz as his manager. I got to give it up to AEW. They know how to come in and use old guys to be mouthpieces. Like, that is very simple to me. One thing that WWE won't fully acknowledge, just bring these old guys in and let them manage. And Taz is a tremendous talker on the mic. Really doesn't get enough credit for me for his work on the mic. So Brian Cage comes in, and I really love the exchange with Luchasaurus. That was tremendous. At the end of the day, Brian Cage picks up the victory here. And I gotta say, it was a shocking result. I really thought this one was for Darby Allin or someone else, but Brian Cage debuts and Brian Cage wins the freaking match. I love it. Shocking, but I love it. We're gonna get Brian Cage and Jon Moxley at some point, and Brian Cage is just a monster. He is the very definition of the new age big man, the guy that can fly around with the smaller guys and can muscle around the big guys. Just a tremendous athlete all the way around. I love the signing. So next up we had MJF versus Jungle Boy. And I gotta say, this one did not get the hype up that the other matches necessarily got, but it was a good match nonetheless. I enjoyed it. I will say that it got off to a very slow start. The MJF faking out the ref, faking out everybody, that was kind of played out. You can kind of see that coming a mile away. But nonetheless, Jungle Boy picked up the action with the multiple topes, and I gotta say that as an old school fan, I appreciated the limb targeting from MJF. It was all well done. At the end of the day, MJF picks up the victory in what was, you could argue, what was one of the matches of the night. Very surprising to me. I would say that was maybe the best match of either of those guys' AEW run so far, and they've had some pretty good matchups. Maybe the best of MJF's run in my opinion, but it was well done. I enjoyed it. Moving on, we had the TNT title on the line early in the show. It was Cody versus Lance Archer, and let's get the obvious out of the way. The TNT title, my goodness, man, when I saw it, the first tweet I said was, whoa, that's the title? Like, I have seen enough red straps in my career, and just one of them does it for me, that Universal title in WWE. Like, I do not want to see another red strap. I don't want to be that fan and get too complaining about the title, but it did not meet expectations. When you have a company that has big platinum, you're expecting the mid-card title to be incredible. Now, I know they said that, you know what, it's not finished yet, and you know what, I'll give it a chance. We'll see how it turns out. But as it stood on that night, like, no, I did not like that title at all. So moving on to the match itself, we got our physical match early on. I think one of the spots of this match was Lance Archer throwing Cody over the top of the turnbuckle in front of the turnbuckle cam. Like, I absolutely loved that. This was a really good matchup. I even loved the blackout that to start the match. It looked like the match is going to be over early. Like, I like that they teased that. But one thing I did not like about this matchup, it was, there was too much Jake and Orton involved in this matchup. Like, okay, Jake Roberts and Orn Anderson, they can have their time in the lead up, in the build up to the match. But the match itself strictly has to deal with Cody Rhodes and Lance Archer. Like, this had way too much Jake and Orn, and it kind of took away from the matchup, in my opinion. That's just my take. We got them out. Finally, we got them out of the ring. And it felt like the match was picking up. Mike Tyson, I was worried that Mike Tyson would get involved, but he was just there to hold off Jake Roberts. One thing that I didn't like about this match is once it felt like it was finally starting to pick up, the match was abruptly over and Cody Rhodes was your winner. I thought that match could have went on for another 4 or 5 minutes and it would have been a really, really good matchup. Nonetheless, a good matchup from me. Cody Rhodes picks up the victory. He is your TNT champion. I would have rather have seen it gone to Lance Archer because I felt like he needed that match a whole lot more than Cody Rhodes needed it. But as I said, previewing the show, this storyline dictates that the face overcomes everything that he has faced from Lance Archer, so I understand the result here. Next up, we had Kris Statlander versus Penelope Ford, and this felt like a cool down match just because of where it was on the card, having to follow that TNT title match, the debut of the TNT title, which, but nonetheless, it felt like a cool down match. I thought that Penelope Ford, did a great job as a last second fill in. We had some great spots from Kris Statlander, and at the end of the day, they made the right result. Kris Statlander picks up the win, and it was a decent enough match. I enjoyed it, but moving on to things I didn't enjoy. Dustin Rhodes versus Shawn Spears. Look, man, this felt like the most WWE segment ever. Dustin Rhodes comes up behind Shawn Spears. Shawn Spears is playing with everybody, and surprise, surprise, Dustin Rhodes is actually there. We had Dustin Rhodes ripping apart Shawn Spears' suit and everything else, and I'm like, come on, man. Like, is this WWE that I'm watching? This is completely horrific. Like I just said on the preview that I wanted AEW to start using Shawn Spears up to his capability, and I felt like they were not doing a great job of it, or even a good job of it. And lo and behold, on the pay-per-view itself, we have Shawn Spears getting embarrassed on the pay-per-view. Dustin Rhodes picks up the victory, and like, man, this is what we're doing with Shawn Spears. Like, you can't come up with anything. Like, put the man in a serious feud, in a serious matchup. Like, we don't need comedy. This is not WWE. This is not AEW, man. At this point in the show, this was the point in the show where I was feeling, I don't know about this pay-per-view, man. Like, I don't know. That's the kind of mindset I was at. And it came up to the ladies next. It was Nyla Rose versus Cheetah. And I was thinking, all right, the pay-per-view is kind of hanging in the balance. Like, if the ladies have a bad match here, I think the pay-per-view is going to end up being bad. If they have a good match here, they can pick it back up. And as it would stand, we got a really good matchup. We had some decent spots. We had a press slam through the table from Nyla Rose. I absolutely love that Super Falcon arrow from Cheetah from the top. That provided a tremendous near fall. At the end of the day, I picked Cheetah to win the matchup and to become your new AEW Women's Champion, and she did. She is your new AEW Women's Champion, and I gotta say that this was a great matchup. Arguably, you could argue the best matchup from the AEW Women so far. And I absolutely love the result. I am one to have always said that Hikaru Shida should have been the champion a long time ago. Like, I thought that if you were going to go with one of the Joshi women to win the title, it should have been her. She should have been the first champion of AEW. That is my opinion. But nevertheless, she's the champion now. Better late than never, AEW, and I am satisfied with it. So moving on to the championship matchup, Jon Moxley versus Brodie Lee. When this one came up, the first thing I said was, oh man, something crazy must have happened in the Stadium Stampede match for the world title, not to be main eventing for AEW. And man, I was right about that. But we're going to get into that. But Jon Moxley, Brodie Lee, I was excited for this match, but I got to say that I was a tad bit worried about the quality of the match. Jon Moxley, known for his personality, pretty decent in the ring, but more so known for his personality. Brodie Lee, very good for a big man, but this is a interesting pairing. Styles make the matchup, and this isn't a very intriguing style nonetheless. But what we got was a hard-hitting match to start. Some spots that I did like in the match: Jon Moxley's back body drop through the table, and it wasn't even a regular table, wasn't even an announce table, through the ring announcer's table, that small little table. And what we got here, I love this matchup. The paradigm shift through the ramp, like that felt like that came out of nowhere. It was like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. And Brodie Lee gets back up, he's busted wide open. And one thing I didn't like, okay, Brodie Lee takes that through the ramp. He takes like 2 more paradigm shifts and he actually kicks out. And I'm like, geez, that's like some type of John Cena stuff right there. Like, that should have been the end of the match. Nevertheless, I like the finish, the very end, the rear naked choke. Like, it gave Brodie Lee an out. It made him look strong. He never tapped out to the move, so he stayed looking strong. Jon Moxley wins the matchup. And at the end of the day, that was a good result despite Brodie Lee taking all of those paradigm shifts and kicking out. Jon Moxley wins the match. It was a very physical match that I absolutely loved. Like, I thought that the ladies really saved the pay-per-view with Nyla and Cheetah. Like, it went back up on an upturn once that match happened. And Jon Moxley and Brodie Lee kept the momentum rolling. So I enjoyed that match. And speaking of matches I enjoyed, we had the Stadium Stampede. And my God, what didn't happen in this match? I won't go through all these spots here, but I will say that, man, some of the spots that I really enjoyed. Matt Hardy in that pool, man. with Proud and Powerful. They're drowning him in the pool, and he's coming up as every version of Matt Hardy there ever was. I absolutely loved it. I loved Hager and Hangman in the bar. We had a bar slide that I loved. Kenny Omega got in the action there. This was an absolutely crazy match, man. We had a goalpost moonsault in this match. Like, action sprawled out into the stands. This was an absolute, it was everything that they promised. It was a crazy matchup. The one negative that I will say about this matchup is that it just went too long. Like, this was 30-40 minutes long, and man, that is a long match in your main event. And like, to say that the action was all over the place, like we spend too much time with people at certain points of the matchup. But overall, I enjoyed it. We had some fun spots. Sammy running away from the golf cart again. And Kenny Omega picking up the win with the one-winged angel through a table or through whatever it was. He picked up the win. And once Kenny Omega finally got the win, I said, goodness, man, what did I just watch, man? It was that type of matchup. They said it would be crazy. They said Chris Jericho said it was one of the best things of his career. Matt Hardy said that, you know what, all of these other matches that I've done, cinematic matches, don't compare. And it was crazy. They were not lying. I enjoyed it nonetheless. I thought it was too long, but overall, I was thoroughly entertained. I laughed. I was intrigued. And yes, they did a tremendous job there. Matt Hardy and the Elite picked up the victory. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the AEW Double or Nothing review. I had an excellent time watching it. It seems like now there was a lot of divided debate. Some people actually didn't like this pay-per-view. Some people absolutely loved it, thought it was great. I myself am in the middle. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. It just was not great. I cannot go down that route. That is my opinion. Let me know your thoughts, whether that be the YouTube comments or on Twitter at OMGCoreyB and at 2SweetPod. That's the number 2 Sweet Pod.